Celebrity pastor Mark Driscoll of Mars Hill Church in Seattle explained his technique for achieving church growth by responding to the sexual lusts of the young students and singles within his congregation. I assumed the students and singles were all pretty horny, so I went out on a limb and preached through the Song of Songs in the fall. Each week I extolled the virtues of marriage, foreplay, oral sex, sacred stripping, and sex outdoors, just as the book teaches, because all scripture is indeed profitable. Driscoll also answered sexually explicit questions within the church.
Is masturbation a legitimate form of birth control? See, I don't know what's coming, so I can't prepare for this. Now, on the subject of masturbation, I will say this. The Bible doesn't say anything. Masturbation is not a sin. How quiet it got. Can I do it? Can I do it?
But Jesus never went into this sexually explicit detail. The Lord simply said, "But I say to you, whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and cast it from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell." Driscoll also claims to have the gift of discernment, which allows him to see the sexual sins of his congregation.
On occasion, I see things. I see things. Like I was meeting with one person, and they didn't know this, but they were abused when they were a child. And I said, when you were a child, you were abused. This person did this to you, physically touched you this way. He said, how do you know? I said, I don't know. It's like I got a TV right here, and I'm seeing it. I said, no, that never happened. I said, go ask them. Go ask them if they actually did what I think they did, and I see that they did. And they went and asked this person, when I was a little kid, did you do this? And the person said, yeah, but you were only like a year or two old. How do you remember that? They said, oh, Pastor Mark told me. Okay? I'm not a guru. I'm not a freak. I don't talk about this. If I did talk about it, everybody would want to meet with me, and I'd end up like one of those guys on TV. But some of you have this visual ability to see things. There was one woman I dealt with. She'd never told her husband that she had committed adultery on him early in the relationship. I said, you know, she's sitting there with her husband. I said, you know, I think the root of all this, I think Satan has a foothold in your life because you've never told your husband about that really tall blonde guy that you met at the bar. And then you went back to the hotel. She's just looking at me like, I said, you know, it's about 10 years ago. See everything. She says, she looks at her husband. He says, is that true? She says, yeah. He was 6'2", blonde hair, blue eye. Yeah. Some of you, when you're counseling, you will see things. I mean, you will literally, gift of discernment, see things. I can't even explain it. It doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes your counselee, they will see things. I found this with people. I say, okay, now I'm going to ask the demon questions. You tell me what they say. They don't say anything. It's like, what do you hear? And they said, nothing. They said, but I'm seeing stuff. I'm like, oh, well, tell me, what's that? I'm seeing, you know, when I was little, my grandpa molested me. I didn't know that. I said, well, let's not assume it's true. Go ask your grandpa. Grandpa says, yeah, when you were little, I molested you. Grandpa was assuming they'd be too young to remember. So he'd only molest grandkids up until a certain age. But they saw it. It's a supernatural. It's the whole other realm. It's like the Matrix. You can take the blue pill, you can take the red pill. You go into this whole other world. And that's the way it works. So I say, tell me everything you hear, tell me everything you see, and sometimes I see things too. I see things too. I've seen women raped. I've seen children molested. I've seen people abused. I've seen people beaten. I've seen horrible things done. Horrible things done. I've seen children dedicated in occultic groups, and demons come upon them as an infant by invitation. And I wasn't present for any of it, but I've seen it visibly. Upon occasion, when I get up to preach, I'll see, just like a screen in front of me, I'll see somebody get raped or abused, and then I'll track them down and say, look, I had this vision, let me tell you about it. All true. One I had, I was sitting in my office at the old Earl building. This gal walks by, nice gal, member of the church. It's when the church was small. And there's just like a TV was there, and I saw the night before her husband threw her up against the wall, had her by the throat, was physically violent with her. And she said, "That's it, I'm telling the pastors." And he said, "If you do, I'll kill you." He was a very physically abusive man. She was walking by, and I just saw it. It's like a TV. I said, "Hey, come here for a sec." I said, "Last night, did your husband throw you up against the wall and have you by the throat, physically assault you, and tell you if you told anyone that he would kill you?" And she just starts bawling. She says, "How did you know?" I said, "Jesus told me." Call the guy on the phone. "Hey, I need you to come to the office." Didn't give him any clue. Comes in. I said, "Dude, what'd you do to your wife last night? Why'd you do this? Why'd you throw her against the wall?" And he gets very angry. They're sitting on the couch. He says, "Why did you tell him?" I said, "She didn't. Jesus did." Jesus did. Okay. And there are some people that have real gift of discernment, and I'm not saying I'm 100% always right with it, but some of you are going to have gift of discernment, and you need to learn to grow in the use of that gift. And sometimes people will hear things, sometimes people will see things.
In Mark Driscoll's book, Real Marriage, he advocates many unbiblical sexual practices for married couples. Driscoll is obviously an extreme in his sexual licentious preaching, but it nonetheless exemplifies the church growth principles of meeting felt needs. Depending on the felt needs of a congregation, in this case of Mars Hill being predominantly youthful and lustful, church growth practices end in worldliness. John the Apostle said, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world." In seeking to please the world, these megachurches often mirror the world, even its debauched practices. For instance, the Harlem Shake was an internet craze in the form of a video which went viral in early 2013. Many people from all over the world uploaded their own similar performances of people dancing lasciviously in costumes, accompanied with a short excerpt from the song Harlem Shake. Then, many churches, such as Saddleback's high school ministry, uploaded their own Harlem Shake videos.
Harlem Shake.